Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from the dead, and I absolutely suck. So I'm the BrettMan. This is Destiny, and the reason I say I suck is because Destiny once again has to outdo me in anything that we do. She got all Christmassy, and the Grinch stole mine, so that's my excuse. So Destiny, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Sorry.
See, she's getting all choked up. She can't talk with the nice
I'm all
compliment.
I'm all choked up here over here, bitch. I can't work. Um, if I sound a little meh, I was sick last week, and I'm still like recovering from it. And so if I seem a little meh, it's because my energy still isn't up. But I'm here. I'm happy. I put up my tree today,
Nice. It's a beautiful
so
tree.
thank you. I still need a topper for it, but everything else is on it. So very
Well,
happy
your
about
Christmas
that.
hats.
My oh my this Christmas hat is as fucking big as my tree. Are you
Oh God, I didn't realize what the hell.
first of all first of all, when I ordered this from Amazon, it did not say it was like 3 feet. And I bought this for work, and obviously I can't wear this for work because this is dangerous. This could hurt someone. So I have to make sure I don't knock over my tree with it. But yeah.
Or you ready for this one? You fill it with a bunch of coal on the inside. If it once a customer gives you shit, you just bam whack them with it.
It's kind of like from iCarly with the butter sock, but instead of butter, it'll be coal.
Damn right.
That's
So
yeah. I think I should.
there you go. There we go. Problem solved. Like there's no accidents with Amazon. It's always have a hidden secret meaning behind it. So, but I'm glad you're doing great. And before we get to the chat and to address everything else that we're going to talk about here tonight, are you ready for Christmas? It's just around the corner.
I am. I am. I'm trying to. I don't know. I feel like I had a lot of Christmas spirit and it died down because I feel like December just happened so fast and I really didn't
Mhm.
get to like fully enjoy it. I still have a little bit of time left, but I didn't watch like nearly enough Christmas movies, which to be fair, a lot of the movies like I really want to watch, I'm waiting to watch with Brayden in person. And so
Mhm.
all like the favorites that I want to watch, I can't really watch yet. And so I think maybe that's also why, is because there's just so many movies I'm trying to save.
Mhm.
So, but I have my decorations up. I put up the tree today. So I'm trying to get back up there. Because I do love Christmas. And I'm on
Mhm.
Pinterest every day looking at fucking Christmas decorations. So I love Christmas. And it's now again, it's hot. And so it's hard to feel like
Oh.
Christmassy when it's freaking hot as well.
Mhm.
So
That
everything's
freaking
just more
south
okay.
heat.
Yeah. It's hot,
Yeah.
it's
So.
cold, everyone's sick. So,
Mhm.
just trying to make it to Christmas.
Yeah. So, but no, that's awesome, Fo. I'm glad that you got a big Christmas planned ahead of you. Again, the 3 feet freaking Santa hat. That's always great. Gavin says that it is the vibing with the Gothamic vibes, which that's pretty
Thank you.
much a great way to describe it. And yeah, I'm the same way, Fo. Like I feel like it's not really synced in yet. Like it's Christmas time or all that. Like I did all my office Christmas party stuff, which yay, that was exciting a little bit. Not really, but because that's more money that left my pocket. And the reason for that is I add a new inclusion to my personal family of objects here, and that is as a lot of people seen in the chat before, and I'm sure you've seen it too. I got a car, Black Widow. Mia helped me come up with that nickname because I have some red stitching on the inside. So perfect name for a beautiful car. And so have to send around a $700 check tomorrow to pay for the rest of the insurance for it to fully go into effect for a year. So money wise, I'm a little nervous. So that's why I do all my friend Christmas shopping way back when. So that's when I like, and then I'll worry about myself and my actual responsibilities. So next year for the Brett Man, if you don't get a lot from me for anybody, I'm pretty much taking care of my new baby. And
Hey,
what
that
the
makes
hell are
sense.
you laughing at?
I'm just laughing because,
Hmm,
damn,
yeah,
sucks being an
it
adult.
does. Oh, that reminds me because again, New Year's is about to come up. Did we complete your New Year's resolution?
What was it?
You were going to get a driver's license.
Fuck off. Shut up. Next year. I got on a plane this year, damn it.
Okay, you know what? That's a
I
good.
almost died.
Let's just say that's a good replacement. If for 2024, it's going to be get a driver's license, and you're going to take better pictures when there's a
Now you're
group
fucking
like
calling me
hangout.
out. I
So
forget to take pictures. I
you
live in
got
the moment.
hey, you know
And
what?
I
I'll
don't
help you
care.
out. I will help out in October. No big worries there. But no, next year I'm gonna bother you at least once a week. Going, did you get that driver's license
I'm
yet?
gonna fucking block you.
Well, don't do
I
that.
get
Like
angry when it comes to this.
how else am I supposed? Who else is supposed to aggravate you? Like, well,
I know.
Chad. Like,
Yeah, that's true. He does aggravate
yeah.
me.
Well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm glad that everything's going great. You got a big Christmas week ahead of you, and everybody else in the chat. So let's say hello to the chat, and then we'll get back from the last back from the dead of 2023 started. We got Yo Adrian, how you doing? We got Rosie saying Bertie, Destiny. So Rosie, real quick, here is your rose, my darling, the best rose on the YouTube game circuit. So let's see here. Who else we got here? If I can find my comic section. There we go. We got Chester saying, sadly, I won't be able to make it. My left eye is swollen and sinuses are still bothering me. Dude, Chester, I'm so sorry about that. Hopefully, we're just going to spread some Christmas cheer, just send positive vibes your way. Hopefully, for a speedy recovery until Christmas time gets here. Let's see here. We got Raymond. What's going on? We got Zodiac Z. What's going on, my friend? We got Mark Jones. I said hello to Gavin already. Brooke, what's going on there, Brooke? How are you doing? Let's see here. Who else? Wow, we got 15 people watching us right now. We appreciate you all so much. Oh, there it is. What's up, bitches? What's going on there, Mia? How are you doing?
Hi, Mia.
Oh, Mamma Mia, Mamma Mia. I wonder how many times Mia's gotten that entire life. Someone randomly just saying, Mamma Mia, Mamma Mia.
Probably too many.
Probably too many. She probably doesn't want me to do it anymore. So I'm going to stop at that. And Rosie says, Destiny, I'm with you on this driving thing. So Rosie, Destiny, I'm going to message you all once a week and ask about the whole driver's license.
It's terrifying.
And then Drew Reviews, what's going on, my friend? We got Aaron Click, what's going on? The Hatchet Boys, what's going on? Cody Snyder, what's going on, my friend? And I believe that is it for the moment. So we are good to go to get started. So just in case, you probably heard this 12 times now, but just, you know what? Might as well end it with a bang. So Back from the Dead is a show where we celebrate horror movies for the entire, like just horror movie anniversaries. But there are so many in December, and like usual, I only get 2 hours of this show with Destiny that is written within her contract. We're currently in contract negotiations for next year. So hopefully, wish me luck to get a deal done with that. Fuck. I knew I was going to fail. It's like I asked for one thing from Santa and it's going to fail. So son of a bitch. But anyways, we'll have fun here tonight just in case. So instead of talking about all of December, we're only breaking it down like by a couple of years. So any year ending at 3 and 8, we're going to talk about. And we're also going to talk about horror movies that came out last year too, as well, from the year of 2022. So Cody Snyder gifted one Goodwill Hunting membership. Look at Cody Snyder bringing some holiday cheer. I believe that deserves a video. So let me get to this video and we will start with the first year. So here we go.
Investors. Where do we find investors?
Right there.
Oh, hello, Belchers. Just having one of our money fights.
So there we go. Cody Snyder, thank you so much for doing that and spreading the Christmas cheer. So let's see here. She never notices that you guys go over 2 hours. Just stop bringing it up. Well, my wallet kind of notices it. So that's why I'm trying not to do that, because every like minute after that, that's like what, $10 per contract?
Yeah, so I'm up at least $75, I think.
Son of a bitch. Good thing I got rid of one of my memberships. So there we go. So Gavin, thank you for bringing that up. So, all right. I do not actually have anything below the 70s. Do you have anything below the 70s? Like anything from the 60s, 50s? Nope. All right. Let's see
Nope.
here. Oh, and Cody Snar also says, Happy holidays, you filthy animals. Appreciate that, my friend. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and just go right into the 70s here. That's not like maybe 15 movies to talk about. So, just in case, if we get this done a little early, if there's plenty of time, we might be doing a Q&A. So, stick around. Stick around. So let's go ahead and go to the first movie. Wow, we're already starting off with a bang already. The Exorcist, that came out the day after Christmas in 73. A lot of good numbers here. And just in case if you want to watch it to get yourself in the holiday spirit, Prime Video has it for the rent-wise the cheapest for $3.79. So Destiny, what are your thoughts about The Exorcist?
So I didn't watch The Exorcist like in its entirety until last year for the first time. And it's just like one of those movies. And I would say like the same thing for Psycho. Like even if you haven't seen the movie, you still have seen the movie. Like you know enough about the movie to know like what plays out. And it's the same exact thing with The Exorcist. I had seen it referenced so many times in pop culture, and I've seen like the key scenes, you know, all the crazy parts I had seen. And I had the DVD for a while, and then I was like, you know, I need to just sit down and watch it. And it was like the good vibes for it. It was like gloomy outside, so it was like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched it, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Of course, watching it, you know, in 2022 at the time, was I affected the same way people in the theaters were affected? No, because horror is so different now compared to like what it was in the 70s. And so just a lot of stuff isn't as shocking. And when you've seen the shocking parts, it's not going to shock you because I've already seen it. So, you know, it wasn't the scariest movie I've ever seen, you know, and I didn't have a heart attack while watching it, but I still very much loved it. It's such a classic for a reason. And it's trying to think about it in that time is insane. What she was doing with that cross is insane. And so I can imagine at the time watching that, and especially like religion was so much different back then too compared to how it is now. And so I could just imagine how freaked out people would have been. But you know, I loved it. I thought it was great. And I wanted to watch it again this past October. Wasn't able to. Brady and I were supposed to, but we weren't able to because we were preparing for Exorcist Believer, which we did see that one. You know, whatever. But yeah, The Exorcist, classic for a reason.
Mm-hmm. No, it absolutely is a classic. It's the one that pretty much just set the whole tone of like kind of like what Halloween is to the slasher genre, like being one of the king of the kings. The Exorcist is like that in terms of possession and religion type horror movies. It's like the top dog. Like so, it's going to be very hard to like outbeat the classic. Gavin, yeah, it's a Hallmark movie if you want to believe it or no, it's not. Gavin's. Sit down. But no, The Exorcist, I really appreciate this movie, especially just the time that it came out in the 70s. If anybody knows me, I always say the 70s is one of the most daring times in horror movie history, just because it really went far and beyond of kind of like what we're used to seeing now. Like in the terms of controversy, because if you try to be controversial now, not good things are going to happen to you, which is unfortunate. But in the 70s, they didn't give a shit. They did what they wanted to do. And like you said, Destiny, the cross scene, that's the one that freaked me out. Going like, you know what she did? Your fucking filthy daughter and stuff like that. And yeah, like let's just say, for example, we see that in the movie now, we'd probably be like, well, if that's not out of the ordinary.
Well, you know, even in Exorcist Believer, it was kind of starting to push a little bit. And I was like, oh my God, are they about to like go places? And then they don't. But
Yep.
They were tiptoeing on the line of like pushing boundaries, which I at least somewhat like appreciate, you know, for them to sort of toe the line a little bit. Because yeah, now like things are so different than how they were. And even though there are movies that are still pushing boundaries, I mean, there's this whole discourse that was happening a couple weeks ago about Terrifier 3 and, you know, killing kids in movies and stuff. So there is still like controversial stuff being made. It's just not like constant, kind of how it was in the 70s. But I'm glad I finally watched it. I also have like a painting that I did years ago that says "Your mother sucks cocks in hell," and I painted that because like the line is funny, and that was in my living room at my old house. So like people would walk in, and that would be one of the first things they would see. So I also kind of felt like a fake fan because I made this painting, but I hadn't watched the movie.
Oh my god! Like that reminds me. Remember, like 2 years ago, I went to to Days of the Dead, and I told you about that one, pretty much that stamp. I drew the pictures of a certain human private part, and it was the Exorcist version of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, you know what, that would be a good gift. If it's somebody's like, no, Brett, that would be a horrible gift to give to somebody. I'm like, fuck yeah, probably. So that's why I didn't get it. But that just reminded me of that once you brought up artwork, because that was definitely one of the most interesting artworks I've ever seen Exorcist done wise. But no, but yeah, since we're on the subject, because I saw Ashton was here. Where is he? Ashton, what's going on, buddy? Go Chiefs, by the way. Ashton says, I've never been a big fan of The Exorcist, but I appreciate it more now because of how bad The Exorcist Believer is. Destiny, I know like you've seen that movie 2 months ago. Do you still feel the same about The Exorcist Believer now than you did back then? Or did you kind of start listening to what some of the criticisms say and you don't really appreciate it?
Well, you know, like something that with David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy, excluding 2018, because I did enjoy 2018, like right off the bat, even though I didn't think I've grown to like it so much more than the initial watch, I already still enjoyed it. But with Kills and Ends, I didn't enjoy it, but there's something about them that like I wanted to go back and rewatch it, even though I didn't like them, because it drew me back in. And with The Exorcist Believer, my expectations were not very high. And I tried not to let them get high for like Halloween Ends, but I watched the trailer. I was like, oh my God, that looks so good. Like, this is going to be so good, whatever. Because it's also Michael Myers, and I love Michael Myers. With The Exorcist, I don't have any sort of nostalgia for it because, again, I didn't watch it until last year. So there's nothing about The Exorcist that's like, oh my goodness, you know, like, I can't believe I'm seeing an Exorcist movie like on the big screen or anything like that. And seeing how the last 2 Halloween movies went, you know, my expectations were quite low. And I had seen, of course, everyone talking about it because Braden and I saw it like a week and a half late because they changed the date because of the Taylor Swift movie.
Damn
so
Taylor.
we had to see it late because of that. And so I'd already seen so many people talk about it. And there's one scene in particular that I did tell Braden. I didn't tell Braden what it was, but I was like, there's a line in here that I'm going to look at you and like hit you on the arm. And I'm like, you're going to know it, right? Like without even
I think I know what that scene is.
You're going to know what it is. And if you've seen the movie, you know what it is. It's her saying about she couldn't go in the room because of the patriarchy, which is the most insane thing I've ever heard because that's not true. That's not true. And also, these men died for your daughter. So I would say let's put a little bit more like respect on that because I just felt so, you know, like I try to give like modern day movies. I am a modern girl, you know, I'm a modern woman in this world. And so I try to give these movies the benefit of the doubt. And I was like, there's no fucking way that's a real line in the movie. And then it happens. And I looked at Ray and I was like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? So besides that, I think it did not have to be a sequel, like a direct sequel. You could have done without the returning characters, even though
especially one. That's the one that really just set everything off on me of like my pure hatred for the movie. I know what scene you're like, you know, that I'm thinking of right now. It's that one scene, one character, it fucked it all up for me.
Did my eyes tear up a little bit? Yes. Did I get a little bit like, oh, sure. But could we have done without it? Absolutely. And like there are still parts of the movie that I actually did enjoy. I don't think it was necessarily as terrible as everyone said it was. I gave it 2.5 out of 5. So I feel indifferent. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. Would I watch it again? Maybe in a few years. Just, hey, let's watch a movie that's kind of not good. Because I like some movies that aren't very good. Like, I will watch The Final Destination. That movie's atrocious. But I can still sit down and watch it because I can have fun with it. And that's what this felt like. I just wanted to be entertained, and I was. Some parts definitely really bothered me, but some parts I thought were actually pretty effective. And I thought the two main girls, I thought they did a great job. And so, you know, I don't want to take away from their performances either, because I thought they did great with like what they were given, really. So I thought they were actually they were my favorite parts of the movie, were them. And when everything kind of changes. Oh, another thing too with the believer, we're like so off topic, but whatever.
Hey, we're here, so
when we went to Halloween Horror Nights, there was the Exorcist Believer house, and this
you saw that.
Yeah, this is a month before the movie came out, and so we're walking through and we're like, is there going to be spoilers for the movie? And there was. Well, of course, like when you're going to these rooms, we don't know the context and like what they're playing out with, but there were so many spoilers for the movie, which was just kind of like, I don't know why they should have done The Exorcist. They should not have done Believer. Why would you spoil stuff from a movie that's not even out yet with these scenes? That doesn't make sense to me.
Money.
Yeah. They should have done just The Exorcist though, because that could have still got people excited for the new one. Maybe like at the very end, there'd be something for The Exorcist Believer to be like, don't forget, there's a new movie coming out, but should not have spoiled stuff, because watching the movie, I was like, oh, I remember that from the house now. Oh, that makes sense because it was from the house. So yeah, pretty weird.
Yeah. But no, just it's still a 1.5 out of 5 for me. It's just, again, that one particular scene. And it did a great job setting up like the first third of the movie. It did a good job setting it up, like getting the relationship with the dad, which I thought the dad did a good job in the movie for, like you said, he was supposed to do. And the girls, same thing. Like, can't take that away from them. The practical effect of like their makeup looked pretty good, but it's just once we enter that second part of it and the third part, it just felt so flat and just became another generic possession movie for me personally. So I'm not going to be in any rush to rewatch it. And honestly, we could have done without it, because just why make something that's already perfect?
Yeah.
So, and I see some more people pop in real quick. Want to give them their hellos real quick. We got Atonis. What's going on there, my friend? Fanderhoff, what's going on? Ben Graham, I didn't think it's the worst movie. It's just forgettable. One scene won't be forgettable for me because that just pissed me off. But over everything else they did, I would say maybe it could be a little bit forgettable.
No, yeah, I would agree that like there are definitely moments that I can remember. And like I remember how the movie plays out, but is it like out of everything I saw this year, is it like I saw this, like you said, like of course everyone saw it when it, like, you know, about 2 months ago when it came out or whatever. But I saw this 2 months ago, and it doesn't even feel like I did, almost like it. I don't know. It feels like it was a lot longer
like if
ago.
it came out in March.
Yeah. So very, yeah. But it was a fun time for me to go to the movies during October to see just a horror movie, you know. Taking it for that for me, which going into it, that's all it was for me. I had fun. But if I would have gone in with any sort of anything, it wouldn't have been a 2.5 out of 5 for me.
Right. And I'm glad you have fun. It's just I was having fun too until that happened, and then that's where all my fun just went out the window. And I was just pretty much sitting here like, is this movie gonna fucking end. Like I was just already over it. But
Yeah.
maybe I might give it one more watch just pretend that didn't exist and see how it plays out any different. But it'll just be a long time before revisiting that movie. And to go back to The Exorcist real quick, and then we will move on, unless if you have any final thoughts. Jamie Hart did bring up, and first off, Jamie, how are you doing? What scares me in The Exorcist is the hospital scenes. Yes. When like the needles and the blood. Yeah. Sorry, just now got that picture in my mind. Yeah, those things bother me still today every time I watch it.
Yeah, I don't like anything to do with the hospitals. Like, I don't watch hospital shows. Like, my mom loves Grey's Anatomy, and I've seen a couple episodes, like, with her downstairs, you know? But, I don't like medical anything. I get all squeamish and ew.
Yeah, I just hate needles. Just anything with a needle, like a movie you had me watch. We'll talk about next. Did a little needle scene, and it still bothered the shit out of me. So needles, no, thank you. But that's anything else with The Exorcist you want to talk about or cover?
No, it's a great movie.
Yeah, just an all-time classic. I personally give it a golden reel of a 5 out of 5. I think it's just the perfect religion/possession horror movie of all time, and nothing can come close to it.
Agreed.
So, alrighty. Did you have anything else from 73 before I go to 78?
No, I did not.
Okay. So let's go ahead and go to 78 here. And this is the movie that Destiny had me watch, because part of our thing on Back for the Dead is if there's a certain movie that the ever has not watched, we picked that movie for them to watch. I had one movie in mind, but Destiny told me to fuck off. So I chose a different movie instead. I'll let you know what that movie, that's the fuck off moment, which I'm pretty sure y'all might assume already know what it is if you saw the thumbnail. But let's cover the one that Destiny had picked for me, and that was from 78. The remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers came out on December 22nd of 78. And if you have any curiosity about this movie, this is on Amazon Prime currently. So if you have an Amazon Prime Video account, you can watch this movie for free. My thoughts about it. I thought it was really good. Unfortunately, I kind of wish I would have watched the original before watching this one, so I could kind of compare the two of which one I was going to like more. Part of me thinks I will like the original more, like with the classic black and white and just like what they dealt with in that movie, because I've seen a couple scenes from the classic one, but I haven't really seen any scenes from the remake one, except for the famous shot at the ending of the movie doing the which I thought that was fantastic. But the one, I believe the actress's name is Brooke Adams, who plays, not Nancy, but Elizabeth in the movie. And I thought she was really good. And I looked up to other movies that she did, and she has a very impressive resume. So I'm going to easily check out more movies with her. But the main actor, I didn't know he was that guy in freaking the Hunger Games going, "Welcome to the Hunger Games." Like, so I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But of course, the random person I didn't know was in this movie was Jeff Goldblum. That threw me way off guard. I was not expecting his awkwardness to be in this movie. But again, he does a good job like he always does. Love the best thing I can say is the practical effects were really good, especially when we get to the second half of the movie and everything is starting to reveal itself. All the practical effect work is great. And the score, it had a 50, like a black and white classic feel to the score, but I thought it still worked in this movie very well, and it really just builds up the anticipation of each scene. So again, you hit it on the mark. I had an amazing time, or I wouldn't say I had a very good time with this movie, and I just give it a solid 4 out of 5. But I'm definitely checking out the original because I feel like I am going to like the original more than the remake. So Destiny, I'm going to just hand it off to you. What you think about the remake, or do you prefer the original, or have you seen the original?
Well, I haven't seen the original, and I just watched the remake. Like, I think it was in October, so I watched the remake 2 months ago, and I really enjoyed it. like you said, I knew the very ending shot of the movie. I'd already seen that before from like just on Twitter and stuff. So I knew what the ending was. But for me, like that didn't take away from anything else in the movie. I thought it was gross at moments. The whole like body sort of emulations, I guess, like just the way it looks, and you're just seeing like kind of like what's going on and everything, and some of it's confusing at first. You're like, wait, what is that? But then it, as the movie progresses, you find out more like what's happening with these people. Like you, I did not know Jeff Goldblum was in this. I knew the main guy was in it. I've seen him before, and then watching it, I was like, Jeff Goldblum, what the fuck? What are you doing? What are you doing
That's
here?
legitimately what I said. I said, Jeff Goldblum, what the fuck are you doing in this movie?
What are you doing? But he was great to watch. He always just brings something to a movie, something just unusual that I enjoy, that a lot of people enjoy. So yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a long movie, so that's kind of one of the reasons it took me so long to watch it, because it's been on my watch list for so long, but it is a little bit longer. It sounds like, I don't know, but finally I just like, I didn't know what else to watch, and I think Pod Mortem, they had an episode for it, and I wanted to listen to the episodes, but I wanted to watch the movie first, and so finally I just sat down, took the time, watched it. I really enjoyed it, and I knew it's going to be a movie I would enjoy by the end, and I gave it the same thing that you did, 4 out of 5 stars. So it's not one that I will watch all the time, but it's one that I definitely will go back to, and to show people who haven't seen it before.
And another one too, just in case if there's any Star Trek fans in the chat, there you go. For the main fact that pretty much the main villain, we'll call him the main villain, even though it's just the entity is the villain. But if you didn't recognize him, Destiny, he was the one that plays Spock, the famous Star Trek character from the 60s. Which I kind of figured you didn't know who that was, but immediately recognized him. It's like, oh, dude, there's Spock. Like,
yeah, no, look, I don't know. I barely know things about Star Wars, so I definitely don't know anything about Star Trek.
Know what?
Wait.
That makes me happy. That makes me happy because we're more Team Star Wars than we are Team Star Trek.
I was going to say the only thing I know from Star Wars, like I've said before many times, is the Family Guy episodes.
Yes.
But then again, the only stuff I know for Star Trek is also from the Family Guy episodes. So Family Guy is just my only knowledge for any sort of space franchise, I think.
There we go. Brayden, start Star Wars next year.
I'm still not
sorry.
done with Marvel.
Do what?
I'm still not done with Marvel.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, you're done with the good part of Marvel. So any other Marvel after that is just a hit and a miss. So I think we could take a break and get you in the world of Star Wars. How about that, chat? Oh, never mind. I think I pissed some people off. We got Adrian loves Star Trek. Hell yeah, that's awesome. And Gavin hates both. So there we go.
First and foremost, we're watching Criminal Minds because it's my turn to pick out something. So
you know what? Touche.
I'm watching
That's
Criminal
fair.
Minds next, and I'm very excited because I love Criminal Minds.
There you go. Let's see. Oh, there we go. The big controversy. Just to give you some knowledge here, a lot of people don't like someone saying that they're a fan of both, because apparently there's this world where you have to pick one or the other. I don't mind that as much. If you like both, if you're a fan of both, like Jamie is, hell yeah, that's awesome. But I feel like if you have to pick a team, it's Star Wars, which I'm glad Jamie did say Star Wars.
Well, you know what? And I won't say it, but I did see a freaking spoiler for Star Wars. And it's like, there's something, of course, everyone knows, because it's everywhere. It's everywhere, you know it. But I saw something else and I was like, oh, I didn't know that part. And then Brayden was talking to me about it and he said it. And I was like, wait, what? He's like, wait, you didn't know that? And I was like, why the hell would I know that? And so
Brayden,
there's something
that's your job.
to do with Star Wars that is like a big sort of thing that I do know because it was spoiled for me. But it's also my fault. It's 2023 and
Ah,
But
that's
still, I
okay.
think this thing was more recent. This thing was definitely not always established. And I was just like, oh,
So,
interesting.
but no, I was like with Raymond said, definitely when it's Braden's turn, hopefully he picks that next. And you do give it a shot, just out of curiosity, just to say at least you did. And remind me after this stream to let me know what that spoil thing is. And I can clarify some Star Wars things. Because me and Brad talked about recently that we do need to rewatch Star Wars because we've been, it's like every once in a while, Star Wars marathon, one day. Even though that's like a 16-hour day, but still good 16-hour day. They want to leave you out, Jeffrey Miller. First off, Jeffrey Miller, what's going on? Saying $2 super chat for a super sticker. I wish StreamYard would have allowed to see what the super sticker looks like. But Destiny, it is a director's chair and it says on set. That is the super sticker. So if I can find a way how to get back, how do I get back? I'm lost. There we go. I'm back. So here we go. Let's do this other super chat here for video. Jeffrey Miller, thank you so much, buddy.
Well, shit, he may have some money. We already committed murder. We might as well rob his ass.
I'll take the credit cards.
I want the jewelry.
I'm gonna take his drawers.
That's the next marathon I want to do. Is the scary movie ones, just because it's been a while. So because that one always makes me laugh. So, but again, Jeffrey Miller, thank you so much, my friend. And Jamie, calm down. Calm down. Chill. I can only imagine what the Fly remake did for you on that. So
He's like really scrawny in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, honestly. Like very like and I was like, oh my God.
If any worked out for the Fly movie. Like he had to have worked out for the Fly movie because definitely the transformation.
Yeah. He's much more muscular in the Fly. But yeah, I was kind of surprised to see that, actually.
So, anything else with the Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Nope, I definitely recommend if you haven't seen it.
Hell yeah. So awesome. And remember that because we'll do a segment at the end for suggesting movies, and I will join you on that train too. Definitely give this remake a watch. Definitely one of the better, like, top remake horror movies of all time, in my opinion, because I think everything worked. So anything else from the 70s or for 78?
Nope, I did not.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and go to the 80s here. We got two movies from the 80s. First, we'll go to 83 with a classic Stephen King novel adaptation of Christine. Came out on December the 9th of 83. You can rent this right now for $4, which I easily approve that if you want to rent it to watch it, especially if you have not seen it before. Highly recommend this one. This one has one of the best practical effect moments in horror movie history, in my opinion. But before I really get into it, Destiny, this is your turn. What do you think about Christine?
I love Christine. It's definitely one of my favorite John Carpenter films, besides, like Halloween, of course. This might be my second favorite because it is, besides Christine and besides like The Fog, like those are my three, like top three John Carpenter films that I go back to. And I love Christine. I don't know what it is about it, but like, who knew a movie about a car could be like as horny as it is? It's actually insane. If anyone's ever seen that episode of My Strange Addiction, where the guy is like dating his car, happens to also be a red car as well. So there's just something about red cars that pulls men in. But it's so good, and the score throughout it, like the soundtrack for it, is unbelievable. It's one of the ones like I will just listen to just the scores throughout because it's so good. It's wonderful, and I think like watching Arnie transform from this like nerdy boy who's being picked on, like we've seen it so many times where the nerd becomes like the bully and stuff, but to watch him, like his transformation is just so just, like night and day difference. It's amazing.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I will
I got allergies. So
I will never forget being on Fear Freaks and just being like having that revelation as to what they meant by Halloween Ends being a Christine remake. Because I was like, how is that like a car? That makes no sense. Y'all are crazy. And I was just sitting there and I was just like, holy shit. I was like, oh my God, no. And it was so Corey Cunningham, Arnie Cunningham, come on. Like, I know they weren't trying to shy away from it. They straight up said, which I love Christine.
Classic.
And so again, like Halloween Ends, I think I might like it more than Kills now, oddly enough. I don't know why. But I think this could be why, is because I love Christine. And so when I watch it like that, I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, Christine is just wonderful. It's so good. Just one of my go-tos. And I have the book for it. Haven't read it yet. Because that is like Brayden and I were talking about, because he has it as well, that he hasn't read it. So we want to like read it together. So I'm like waiting to read it. But that is like, if I could read it right now, I would, because it's like the one book that I like really, really want to read, even though it is like 500 something pages. So
Yeah, but I heard it was way better than the movie, though, because it goes into detail with each character as well. So I definitely am interested to hear your thoughts about the book, because next year I'm going to start with my whole book journey, but I'm doing an audio book journey instead, because I want to listen to Seven while I work. So hopefully I get to that. But definitely, I've always heard that the book is better than the movie.
Yeah, there's more characters in the book that are like kind of excluded from the movie. I'm assuming because of time, because it is a little bit. It's not like a super long movie, but you know, there's I know for sure a character that's not in the movie at all. So, and it's more like with Stephen King, like his books are always more than like what we see in the movies, because like I feel like a lot of times it's hard to adapt a Stephen King novel because it's so just like not like filmable, because it's a book, and so you can use like your imagination, but for it to not come across like a certain way, I feel like a lot of times you have to like get rid of it, or sometimes it's just downright not appropriate. If you read some of Stephen King's books, you are glad it's not in the movie, because it's some stuff is really questionable
or a little fucked up. Like,
yeah. I had to put down Misery because I did start that, and he talks about like Annie like breathing into his mouth, and it's a lot of like she like raped my mouth with her breath, and I was just like, Steven. So I put it down because I was like, I'm gonna save this for a different time. I'm not reading this right now. So yeah.
Oh gosh, but no, let's see here. But no, Christine definitely has one of my favorite practical effect moments of all time, with just the reformation of the car after the bullies beat up on the car, and the car actually just went back to its normal state. I just think that's amazing. That's why I am nervous if they do the remake for Christine. They're going to CGI the shit out of it, and that's what's going to concern me so much. I don't want it unless if they're going to do that scene practical. So definitely do not do that if that is the plan. But Christine, I love the movie. I definitely think it's one of Stephen King's top 3 movie adaptations out of his whole bunch of movies. I think it's amazing, great characters, and yes, when I rewatched Christine for the Fry Fight tournament for best horror movie of all time, that is where I legitimately saw everything. You know, this is easily where fucking Halloween Ends gets all their shit from Christine, especially with the Arnie Cunningham. I'm like, did they like the little Leo point, like, oh, like that kind of moment, like holy shit, it all connected. Glasses, they both went from nerds to assholes, but justifiable assholes, but except until they really get into their obsession, and that's when you kind of quit feeling bad for them. But no, definitely love Christine myself. Truthfully, I was trying to get a red card versus a black card just because I wanted to name my card Christine. Just because what a lot of people have been saying in the chat that red's just a sexy color, which it is. Red's a sexy color. But unfortunately, they didn't have red there, so I had to get what I can get. And last thing I can say is Destiny, if you thought My Strange Addiction had a weird episode about a man in their car, you should check out a little movie called Titan. You can thank me
Oh,
later.
I did. I did.
Oh
And
man,
that
talk
movie
about.
made me nauseous. Oh,
Is that why you won't get a driver's license?
yeah, because I'm scared I'm gonna fuck my car.
Hey, I've seen weirder addictions.
And then I'm not gonna say what happens at the end, but
No, it's just a movie y'all gotta go. Legitimately, don't do anything. Like, don't read into it. Watch it, and you'll thank us.
or no, I'm not. Look,
Or send all the hate my way.
but personally, here's my thing because I won't say what happens, but there is what the movie turns into is like stuff I don't like watching because it freaks me out. I don't like
Yeah,
the thought.
I know what you.
Even if it's like regular and not what this thing is, I don't like the thought. I don't like thinking about it. And so, like, when the first part happens, and I was like, okay, please don't tell me it's gonna transform into, and it does. And I was just like, oh, and especially when yeah. So yeah, watch it at your own discretion because if I had known what happened after that, I don't know if I would have watched it. And it was a movie I was literally fast forwarding like 10 second because I was like, I can't take this anymore. I actually literally felt so nauseous watching that movie. So it was not one of my favorites.
Oh man. And if y'all are just like you don't want to watch it alone, me and Brad actually did a watch party for it. But I've never seen it. So if you want to get like my true genuine reaction to that particular scene, I suggest you all like go look up Flicks with the Fellas Titan episode. And you will see a fucking reaction because Brad was just like doing this, like waiting for me to get to see him. I'm going like like it's insane. Like, guys, again, seriously, if you've not heard of it, don't do any reading about the movie. Just go in as blind as you can. And if you do not enjoy your time, don't take it out on Des. Take it out on me because I'm really like. But honestly, it is a good movie. Like I liked it.
It's something you've definitely never seen before.
Oh my gosh. See, even Ben Grimm is also a fan of Titan, so hell yeah. But before we move on here, Jeffrey Miller's just being so amazing, spraying the Christmas joy. $10 super chat saying, great show, BrettMan and Des. Keep it up. So again, hopefully this is just the contract negotiations coming back here. So let's go back to the very beginning here with this super chat clip.
Investors. Where do we find investors?
Right there.
Oh, hello, Belchers. Just having one of our money fights.
Having our money fights. So Jeffrey Miller, thank you so much, my friend. So Destiny, anything else about Christine?
No, it's wonderful.
Awesome. And I agree too. Definitely I increased it from like a 3.75 for my rewatch to a 4.5 like immediately. Just spectacular. So anything else from 83?
Nope.
Awesome. So we're doing good here. So let's go to 88 with Hellbound Hellraiser 2, 2 days before Christmas. So December 23rd of 88. Plenty of places to figure out how you want to watch this movie with the subscriptions that you all have. So Destiny, I have not seen this movie, even though it is pretty much towards the top of my watch list. So I know you've seen this movie. So what do you think about Hellbound Hellraiser 2?
So I've seen this movie twice. I watched it like 2 or 3 years ago now, I would say, and I was not a big fan of it. And I really enjoyed the first one. So I went into this one pretty soon after I watched the first one, and I was just like, oh, that was kind of disappointing because it just gets very, very weird. And like even like weird for like Hellraiser. Like it just gets strange towards the end. And then I watched it again this year during October, and I enjoyed it more this time around. But still, it's not one of my favorites, and it's definitely not one I'll always go back to. But maybe if I'm in like just like the mood for a Hellraiser movie, and maybe if I just watch the original, because if I'm watching one, I want to watch the original because it's the best one that I've seen in my opinion. But I've only seen the first 3 and then the reboot. So, but I've seen the best ones. I do know that pretty much. Even though I heard 4 some people like 4. But Hellraiser, it's just not really my franchise, honestly, and it's kind of disappointing because it has so much stuff that I really enjoy. It just doesn't so much work in the way I was like would want it to work, I would say, besides the first one. Because it's all about like lust, and it's supposed to be, you know, like sensual and like, you know, and I feel like it really loses that. See, Gavin, I remember he said I gave it, because I think the first time I watched it, I gave it maybe a 2 or 2.5, and then I gave it a 3.5 this last time, and he said I rated it too high. I don't like obviously the main villain is still, you know, you have Pinhead, of course, and then you have, I forget her name, not Kirsty, but
Oh,
Julie.
the Ever Woman.
Yeah, I think her name is Julie.
Yes.
Or Julia. But you have like them, it's the new villain that's introduced in the second one that he does not work for me, and he is like what really ruins a lot of the movie for me, and he just looks absolutely ridiculous towards the end. Not scary whatsoever. His voice is so stupid. So I cannot stand the new villain that's introduced. But Kirsty is in it and she's great. I really enjoy her, and I think she is not appreciated enough as a final girl, but especially in the second or the first one, because she is so just like doesn't take any shit, which I appreciate, and she's great in the second one as well. So if it wasn't for her, I don't know if I would like it as much, because her and like Julia, they really do save the movie. But yeah, just a lot of stuff surrounding it just doesn't really work out for me. But I like the third one more than the second one. The third one is a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting it to like it as much as I did, and I did. It was pretty good.
Nice.
And
I
definitely
definitely
sexier than the second one. It is. There's a scene
or
I was
as
like, oh
Rosie
my
says,
God.
kinky.
Yeah.
But no, I have not seen the second or the third one, so I don't have much to add into the second one. But it's definitely high on my my list. But God, I can't talk right now, and I'm not even on the whiskey tonight. But yeah, it's definitely on my watch list, and I've been hearing that some people enjoyed the third one more than the second one. But I'm a believer. I heard the first 3 were the best ones, if we're not counting the remake that came out last year. But so definitely going to add it to my watch list and get them down sooner or later. But definitely the first Hellraiser, to me, it's the king, especially yet again, preparing for the Fright Fight tournament for best horror movie of all time. I gave the first Hellraiser a 3.5 out of 5 on rewatch. Instantly, it's like in a way a 4.75 out of 5. It was one of my favorite rewatches, and because it's just everything's so right, and just like diving into a world of the horror genre that really has not got touched before, looking on the sexual side of things. And yeah, like Rosie said it best, it's kinky.
It is.
So. Yeah, Desi, I'm not sure if you know this, but there's this whipped cream thing going on. I have the exception of whipped cream. So yeah, Raymond, to answer your question, no whipped cream tonight. I'm still not recovered from the sugar crash from Thursday. I'll have to send you that video. Like, it's weird. But yeah, if you thought Hell's Razor was kinky. But anyways, so let's see here. Anything else from 88?
Nope.
Alrighty, so we'll move on. So we are about to go to 98. Did you see anything for 93?
No.
Awesome. And yeah, there's not a whole lot that really comes out in December. So if there's anything that is like does come out that I forgot, just let me know. I'll still ask, but just let me know. So let's see here. Let's go to 98 with The Faculty. Released on Christmas Day in 98. So we're about to have a anniversary come up on Christmas Day, and good cast here. If you've not seen this is to rent right now for $4. And for me, I've only seen this once, but I'm going to call it like a half watch. And here's why it's called a half watch, because I was watching a stream that Destiny was doing when they did the watch party for the faculty, and I was kind of half paying attention to the movie while also half paying attention to the stream. I feel like I need to give this another rewatch just so I could fully like get my 100% attention to the movie, because I could tell that the cast was, first off, they're big time, and second, that I could tell they were having fun with what they were given to do and how they were allowed to do their characters. So I just need to give this another watch, and that's the best thing I could say about the faculty.
Yeah. Again, like I didn't have a real watch because it was my first time watching it for the stream, and I didn't have the sound on because I was watching on like my box TV, like my old box TV that I had set up. So I was watching it on there, and obviously there's no subtitles for that. And so I have no idea what's being said the entire movie. And so I remember what I had seen. Like I remember what I saw, but I don't know the words that were being said. I don't know any of the musical scores, anything like that. And so it's one that even though I've seen, I don't count that I've seen it because I didn't get the full movie experience. So it's one that I want to go back to. So yeah, from what I saw, I did like what I saw, and I still remember a lot from that movie, especially the end, because I remember watching it and I was like, oh, this is like a scene from Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2, because you have a certain character that has the same hair color walking around naked in a locker room, and shit's happening with lockers. And so something like that also happens in the faculty. And I was like, oh my God, I've seen this before. That's so cool. But yeah, it's one that I want to go back and watch. And I don't know why I haven't yet, honestly. I have the movie, so it's not like I don't really have like an excuse to not see it. It's one that I know I will enjoy because I love this time period of horror. The cast is great. So yeah, it's definitely one that I need to watch soon.
Yeah, and I actually kind of just clicked in my brain here. It kind of took a lot of inspiration from Invasion of the Body Snatchers in a way.
Oh yeah, 100%. And so it is like it's like a teen version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. So instead of following a bunch of adults, you're following a high school class, basically.
Yeah, with some very bad hair choices in that movie. So not good on that part. But yeah, the cast was still great. And like with Des, I am easily going to rewatch it too. I'm not sure why I haven't gotten a chance to rewatch it yet when I just know it's at the time it was still streamable. But as soon as like, yeah, I'm going to stream it, it goes to rent. And I'm always particular with what I rent. Let's see. Oh, and Maddie Baker, what's going on, my friend? Saying the faculty was the shit when it came out. Hell yeah, Maddie Baker. That's awesome. And hopefully everything is going well. And also, Rosie lost her faculties with the movie. So there you go, Rosie. Nice. So let's see here. Anybody else? Nope. I think we're good there. So, Destiny, anything else with the faculty?
Nope.
All right. And anything else from 98?
Nope.
Awesome. Oh, sorry. I had two more from 98. I'm not sure why I tackled the faculty first, but I do have two more from 98. So my apologies. Even though we pretty much can forget one of them, which the one we're looking at right now, the Psycho remake came out in December 4th of 98. If you're actually curious about it, $4 to rent. I do not suggest it. I've not seen the movie, but again, I can just tell you, why are you remaking a classic? It's not good, not a good idea. And then, of course, another movie from 98 I found is The Day of the Beast was released on December the 23rd of 98. The only reason I know of this movie is because this movie played during one of the episodes of Joe Bob's The Last Movie Drive-In. This was a particular episode. And for what I remember of it, I enjoyed what I watched. Of course, it's always annoying to read subtitles because I believe, Destiny, wasn't this a Spanish movie?
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's either Spanish or French, but something tells me it's leaning more towards Spanish.
I think it was a Spanish movie. And so I don't remember a lot of that one because...
Yeah, like I think it was the second movie that played that night. That's usually when everybody goes to bed at that point. For some reason, I randomly stood up for it.
That was another one I did watch all the way through. I don't remember a whole lot besides like the main characters. Like I remember them, but I do not remember like almost anything from the movie itself besides the main characters. It is hard for like The Last Drive-In for a subtitle movie because you're trying to watch the subtitle or you're trying to watch the movie, read the subtitles, and also if you're like me, you're trying to keep up with Twitter because everyone's tweeting along, and so it's a lot of like looking everywhere. And so it's one that I just don't remember. A little bit of the end, though. I do remember a little bit of the end. But yeah, it's one that I need to go back and rewatch during December. I still have time to this December. I don't know if I'll get to it.
There you go, especially with the anniversary day coming here in a few days. And Chad, excuse you. Hopefully that carbonated drink was pretty good for you to belch that loudly.
Wow, so rude.
How rude. And then do you even want to talk about the Psycho remake? Because I'll be honest with you, I truly don't. I don't know why the fuck they made it. It's just
I haven't
it
seen
pisses
it.
me off.
I don't care to see it. I do know the one like big difference in the movie, and it's him masturbating. It's just Vince Vaughn playing Norman Bates. Come on, get on my face. Absolutely not. That is not hashtag not my man. Sorry. Not in this, at least. I do like Vince Vaughn. I do like him.
I felt bad for him for even accepting this role. I'm pretty sure someone from Hollywood said, hey, we got a picture of you naked with a hot dog and it's weird. We won't release a video unless if you do the Psycho remake. Okay, I'll do the Psycho remake. I think that's how they snuck him in. But Chad says it's not that bad. So that's interesting. And from the numbers I saw, I was pretty surprised. Here, I'll show the numbers again. I thought they would be a lot lower. So I am kind of surprised the numbers are the way they are. So other than that, though, I have no interest in it. And you say you got no interest in it, right?
No, there is like an ongoing like joke for Dead Meat with the Psycho remake. Like when Chelsea and James play like games, she'll throw in like the Psycho remake it's so every time I think about the Psycho remake, I do think about them because they laugh about it so much and they've talked about it so much. But yeah, it's not one that I really care to see.
Yeah, I'm the same way because again, like kind of like the same with Christine. If they ever remake it, like why are you remaking such a classic that doesn't need to be remade? Just to me, it's not good. Like not a good idea. And Ben Grimm hated it. Vince Vaughn doesn't pull off the boyish man innocent thing. Like kind of like how not Norman Bates because that's the character's name. Give me a minute.
Anthony Perkins.
Yeah, Anthony Perkins. Yeah, because he nailed that shit to perfection.
Yeah, it's just not a role that I really picture Vince Vaughn in like at all.
No, like absolutely not. But he was awesome and freaky, so I will give him that because he was awesome and freaky.
I mean, yeah, he's great in like so much. But he plays
especially Wedding Crashers. Well. Wedding Crashers is my all-time favorite movie with him. Like I thought his comedic perfection was nailed in that movie.
Don't think I've seen that, but I just watched Four Christmases, and he's in.
How was that? That's actually a personal favorite of mine because me and my mom used to at one time watch it every single year for Christmas until I moved out. It's so good, folks, especially where he was playing Joseph. He goes, "Oh, give the baby." It's so good. It makes me laugh every single time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. It was really cute.
Yeah, and we're named by the state that we got conceived in. So Denver, what's going on?
Oh my god, that's so that was pretty funny.
Oh, so it's just so great. And Zodiac agrees with me that Wedding Crashers. Yeah, add that to your watch list. Such a great comedy. And same thing with Old School. Ben, you the man. Old School is one of the most underrated comedy movies of all time. So, you got a question?
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought you raised your hand. So, yes, question. Anything else from 98? Sorry, those were the two if I forgot to talk about for a minute.
No.
Okay. So moving on to 2003, and I got not much to say about this one because I haven't dove into this franchise yet. But just in case if you're a fan of the Leprechaun franchise, Leprechaun Back to the Hood was released on December the 30th of 2003. This is on Tubi right now if you're interested in watching this movie. So again, I have not seen this movie. Honestly, I've not seen hardly any movie within this franchise, nor do I care to, because I've heard nothing but sort of okay things. So Destiny, I know how much you and Braden enjoyed the first Leprechaun on one of your Fear Freaks episodes. So any interest in diving further into the Leprechaun franchise?
Really, no. And
Mhm.
like I did watch the franchise like as a kid, and I can't remember like which ones I had seen, but I had seen some of them as a kid and I really enjoyed them. And then yeah, when we had to watch it for the Fear Freaks episode, I was like, "Oh my god." And I couldn't get through it. I turned it off. I watched almost all of it, turned it off, and then I just watched the kill count because I was like, I cannot do this. And then I didn't want to talk about the movie that night. I think we might have talked about it for like 10 minutes because it was like I would
Record
rather
10
talk about
minutes.
anything else than fucking Leprechaun. So I watched them as a kid and I enjoyed them, but like now I can't do it. And there is one that we'll actually talk about later that I have a little bit of interest in because again, I've seen the kill count for all of them. I've watched the entire franchise for the kill counts, you know. And there's one of them that I'm like, maybe that actually might be good. But even like, you know, the first one is supposed to be like the best one, and that one was just so hard to get through. So I just don't have any interest after trying to sit down and watch the first one.
Yeah,
It
because
genuinely
that was a
pissed me
record.
off.
That was a Fear Freaks record. It's a 10 minutes talk event. I'll be honest with you, don't even know what we talked about, but it was a lot better than what you all were talking about with the first Leprechaun. So that's why, like, I had it like in my mediocre room of like my watch list, but after that episode you Braden did, it went like drastically down, and that's because everything I've heard about the whole franchise is. I hate to be that person, but I heard it's just a big old waste of time. But again, I know there's some Leprechaun fans out there, so I wanted to make sure that we kind of treat those fans into celebrating their anniversaries as well for their franchise. So that's the only reason why I brought it up. So let's see here. I think that is it for that for the chat. Anything else from 2003?
No.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go to 2008. And Destiny, this is the one that I chose for you. And I was surprised you have not watched this one, even though I watched this lately, like for the Fry Fight tournament back in October, for my first watch, just because I heard nothing but excellent things about this movie. And it's called Let the Right One In, released on December the 12th of 2008. Plenty places to stream on Prime, Tubi, and Peacock. And for me personally, highly recommend everyone checking this out. You'll hear me mention this movie again towards the end of the show. But Destiny, I definitely want to hear your thoughts. What did you think about your first experience with Let the Right One In?
So I watched it earlier today and I really enjoyed it. I had seen Let Me In, which is the American remake, and I had seen that when it came out, and I think I watched it maybe once or twice. And even though I haven't seen it in so long, I still remembered a little bit about it. And so going into this movie, like I wasn't completely like unaware of like what was going to happen. And the more I watched, the more I started to remember from what I've seen in the American remake. And so I started to remember like kind of where the story is going, because it almost is like a direct remake almost. There's a little bit that's changed up, but not a whole lot. But Let Me In always like confused me because I was just like, wait, who are these people? What's going on with this person? And actually watching this one, I was like, oh, I feel like that actually made a lot more sense than Let Me In. So I kind of thought like they told the story better, and you just feel really bad for like the main boy. You feel bad for him in the remake as well though, because he's like bullied and he's like an outcast and stuff. So you really feel bad for him, and you know he's trying to like stand up for himself. And watching it, I was just like, oh, I wish I didn't know where the story was going, and I wish I didn't know what kind of movie it was, because it would have been such a cool surprise, because they really hold off on what. I mean, I don't know if this is it is a vampire movie. I don't necessarily think that's a spoiler though.
I think it's
Especially
kind of given away in the title a little bit, and but like
little
any
bit.
horror movie fan traditionalist actually like heard about this movie, and I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of people saying like in the chat saying like they've seen the remake before this one, so they kind of knew like I wouldn't say it's spoiler, and plus it came out in 2008, so it kind of goes over the channel rule of 5 years, so you're okay.
So watching it, but they do hold off on the fact that she's a vampire. Like they don't just straight up say that she's a vampire, and they hold off on it. And then, she's saying, like, would you still like me even if I wasn't a girl? And you're like, oh, like, what does that mean? And then you see, like, what it means. But, like, she's also a vampire. So she's not even, like, a human. But, yeah, and, like, the ending is really good. There's a whole, like, part with a pool and what they're doing to this boy, and you feel so bad, and the way it's shot is so just like well done. And this movie's it's just beautiful to look at, because even the remake, it's really like it's so like the tone is very like muted, and like it's very dreary because it's like a snowy setting, and it's not really sunny a lot or anything like that. So it's kind of like Twilight, where everything is gloomy, it's moody, but there's just a lot of snow in this. So it's very pretty to look at, and it's like shot beautifully. There's so many shots. I was like, wow, that's really pretty. I don't know if it's one that I would go back to often, but I feel like this is a really good February movie because it's still cold in February, and it is a love story, just like Let Me In was. It is still like a love story between them, and you do like. I really like these characters a lot. The two main characters. I thought they did so good. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. Again, it is a longer movie. It is almost 2 hours, and that's the reason why I hadn't seen it yet, is because it is a long runtime.
I'm forcing her to watch the longer movies.
Yeah, you take the time, sit down, watch it. I had my fan turned on to like make it like extra cold to like put me in the sort of, and I had all the lights off to kind of put me in the mood for the movie. So yeah, it's definitely a good movie. It's worth the runtime.
Yeah, like it ain't that crazy, folks, that you have to do that just so you want to get yourself into the movie, like turning on the fan, because it's like to make it cold and get into that atmosphere. Or if you're watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, for some reason you just want to be like freaking sweating bullets to feel that Texas heat. So like that's kind of crazy how you mentioned that, because I was kind of like that in a way myself. Like for the movie lately, I've want to rewatch is The Autopsy of Jane Doe. The first time I watched that movie, I legitimately turned every single light off of my house, and I actually put my phone into my bedroom while I went to the living room to watch the movie, because I just want to be like into that environment. So it's kind of cool how how you just mentioned that, like just like to get into the mindset of watching a movie.
Yeah, it makes everything better because it's very disorienting. Because I had watched The Thing for like the very first time, and I had watched it during summer though, and so like, and I had a fan blowing on me while I was watching it, so it made me feel like a little bit colder. But then I like walked outside, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like I felt like really like whoa, and so if like it really does help whenever you get yourself in the mindset. It just I don't know, it adds something special to it.
No, and I definitely agree. So I just thought that was cool that I just like go more into what you just said, because I'm kind of the same way. But definitely with the Let the Right One In, I think it's just a classic. Definitely a great romance story. Like I know again children are involved, but you can't help but still feel the romance of that what they're doing. And in fact, it just works. And it's just like you cheer for them, you want them to work out and everything. But the one thing I definitely want to include that I'm glad that a vampire type movie decided to finally tackle is the whole theory of what happens when a vampire comes in without getting invited in. I've always been curious of what that will look like. This movie does tackle that question. I'm not going to say what happens because I want y'all to watch it, but I was very satisfied with how they chose to do that approach and what happens when a vampire comes in uninvited. I think they nailed it like to perfection. So, but no, everything else, Destiny pretty much just knocked it right out of the park. What did you give the movie as a rating? 1 out of 5?
I get 4 out of 5.
Nice. That's still a great score. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. I knocked it out with a bang because if we did beginning of this year, that was not a good start for movie picking. So I'm trying to get better at those. So anything else you want to talk about with Let the Right One In?
Definitely recommend.
Awesome. And anything else from 2008?
No.
Awesome. And we're going to go to the 2010s. And do you have anything from 2013?
No.
Oh, I was going to predict that. No, I'm just kidding. So let's go ahead in 2018. The first one, we kind of mentioned the franchise earlier. We'll bring it back up again. But this time, Leprechaun Returns. It had an internet special release before it went on sci-fi, like a sci-fi original movie. The internet was released on December 11th of 2018. If you're curious about it, $4 rent on those 3 streaming sites. Like I said again, I'm not very interested in the franchise, so I should say save your $4 for something else. And then the other movie that came out in 2018, and this was like a freaking phenomenon that happened, and I'm not sure why it even became such a big deal for such an okay movie, and that's Bird Box. That was released on Netflix on December the 21st of 2018. Sandra Bullock, she was really good in the movie. I enjoyed her performance, and I love the idea of what Bird Box did. And plus, again, just the whole world was doing the whole thing of like covering themselves and like pretending they were in the movie. I thought all that was cool. But I'll just be honest with you. I thought the movie was just so average. And it's been such a long time ago. I don't even remember the movie now. I definitely need to do a rewatch if I ever get my Netflix back. But honestly, again, cool idea. They got a great actress lead to do the movie. But other than that, though, good phenomenon with the whole blind thing. But other than that, easily forgettable. So, Desi, do you remember during this time period of 2018 about everybody being blind, like covering themselves and all that? And what do you think or remember about the movie Bird Box?
Yeah, I remember when it came out, everyone was like talking about it, like everyone on Facebook, like even people like that I don't know for like movies, like everyone was talking about it. And so finally, like one night I sat down and I watched, I was like, okay, like that wasn't, I don't think it's anything special. But it is like a century horror movie, which is always, it's interesting to see because like we had A Quiet Place and then we got this. So we had like a little bit of those movies to where it plays off of your senses. But like it wasn't anything too special, but there are parts of it that I still do remember. So some of it did stick with me, but it's not one that I ever care to rewatch. Honestly, it's not one that I'm rushing to watch. I just, I saw it that one time. Okay, That's fine.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, cool little phenomenon, but other than that, it's just easily forgettable. And if you just want to watch it just because you're bored, go for it. But Destiny, do you want to mention anything about Leprechaun, or are we pretty much just Leprechauned it out here?
This one I might watch at some point. That's it.
Okay. And that's it. There we go. So those are those 2 movies from 2018. We skimmed them real quickly. Anything else you find in 2018?
No, that was it.
Awesome. So far, I'm doing a great job. So let's go ahead and go to our final year here. This is for 2022, the movies that came out last year. I'm going to save the best movie for last. And if we have a little time, we will do a small Q&A. So go ahead and get your questions ready, and I'll try to star them in the chat. Let's go ahead and knock these 2 movies out of the way first. The first one is The Apology that came out on December 16th. This is on Hulu and Shudder right now. This used to be a Shudder original first. And then the movie after this is the one that I wanted Destiny to watch, but this is the one that she wanted to kill me if I made this my selection. So I didn't. And that is The Mean One, the Grinch horror movie that was released, had a short theater release on December the 9th. And if you're curious, for $5, you can rent this on Amazon Prime and in YouTube. I'm a Grinch fan, so I'm going to tell you that I think it's worth it. I think you can either enjoy it with either how bad it is, or if you're a Grinch fan, you can actually have some kind of enjoyment with this movie. But so I want to hear, Destiny here, have you seen The Apology, or do you have any interest of watching The Mean One?
So I have seen The Apology. I watched that last year when it got added to Shudder, which I think it's worth, like, I don't think it's anything too great. I think I gave it like 3.5 out of 5, maybe 3 out of 5. But I thought it was decent for what it was. It's actually a lot darker than I was expecting it to be. And it's definitely more of a thriller. It's not so much, like actually like a horror movie. It's more of a thriller, but I think it's worth the watch because it's like just a random Christmas time movie that, since it's new, you probably haven't seen. The Mean One, I'm not like fully against like watching it. It's just like my interest it's not very high in watching it. And it's mainly because like we're getting these sort of characters that are like childhood classic, like childhood staples that are now being turned into like horror movies. We got this, and then we had like Winnie the Pooh, and we're getting the fucking Bambi movie, and I'm just like, what an interesting turn in things. And yes, it does have, and he is the one reason I want to watch it. I want to watch it.
He was
solely
great.
Okay. Because that is the only reason. Like, I talked about the poster. It looks like a Wattpad fan fiction cover that like people would make for like their One Direction fan fictions, but it's just like a horror one. And so I'm just like, oh, very interesting. But yeah, I'd watch it for him because I love him as Art the Clown. He brings so much charisma for Art, and I would like to see him do something that's not that, because I've never seen him in anything else besides him being Art the Clown. And so I think it would just be interesting to see him like as a different character. But yeah, if I watch it, it's literally for him. There's like nothing else for me that's like, oh, I need to watch this. It's literally just that.
Yeah, and I agree with Ash. Yeah, and I agree with Ashton saying that he is easily the best part. And here's the deal too: if you're a fan of the Grinch, which you're a fan of the Grinch, right?
The How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the cartoon, like original, is like my favorite
66.
Christmas movie. That's not like a horror, like just my favorite Christmas movie
Of all time?
Yes. That is like
That's
the number
mine.
one like comfort, like Christmas, like feel good. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, like that's easily my favorite Christmas movie of all time, because that's like one of the first 3 movies in my entire life that my mom actually showed me. So I have like that attachment to that movie. So when I heard they did this movie, I had to go see it immediately because I'm that curious with how much fun they were going to have with it, or how much they were going to try to ruin everything. But they were just so, and I think this is actually underrated writing, because they make a lot of jokes where they really like pay full attention to the classical fans of the Grinch with the book, the movie, and they like really are just smart with that, especially the third act. Like one thing like legitimately made me vote for it for the Real Horror nominee for the last year's show, or like kind of like this previous year's show for the Real Horror Awards. I voted as a what the fuck moment. Like, cause it was literally way out of left field. And I think people should at least pay attention to the third act. If you want to skip the first, third and the second third, and just go ahead and go to the third, why not? Like, I feel like everybody should experience this, especially if you're a traditional Grinch fan, because you would get it immediately. Because when I saw this in theaters, a lot of the people in my audience were like, what the fuck just happened? And me and this legitimate other dude just started busting out laughing immediately, because we knew exactly what happened. And after the movie, we just randomly never met this dude in my entire life. Literally goes, dude, did you get it? I was like, yeah, right, I got it. And we high-fived and we just left, and I never saw him again. It was random, but we totally got what they were doing. So I had a really good time. And Ashton said it best. It's so bad it's good. Like, you just can't help to have a good time with it. And I just had a good time with it. Like, I think I even gave it like a 3 out of 5, which I know from the ratings, everybody hated it. But you know what? That's okay, folks. So I will try to appreciate the movie, and hopefully someday you'll get to watch the movie as well.
All right.
And I know you told... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'll have to next year.
So let's see. Oh, yeah. You did tell me that Dan Meat was about to do an episode. Weren't they?
Who?
Dead Meat.
Dead Meat. Oh, I thought you said Demi, and I was like, who is that?
Demi Lovato, like she's going to do an
yeah.
episode on it. So.
That's literally the first. I was like, Demi Lovato's doing an episode. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be maybe this week's kill count. I know he mentioned it that it's coming up, so I'm very curious to see because I'm definitely watching the kill count first. Whatever.
Oh,
like,
but you're gonna dive into the scene that I talked about just now, and I definitely need to hear your thoughts about it. Like, I'll send you a message Friday, just to see if you've watched it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it, so I will be watching that.
Hell yeah! So let's see here. Let's go with the other two movies here I got for 2022. Let's see here. We're doing good on time. The first one being Christmas Bloody Christmas was released on Shudder on December the 9th. And the other movie here, this is the one that just came out of nowhere and it just became what a lot of people's like classic now for a Christmas movie. And just everybody wants to give it a watch, and that is Violent Night with David Harbour. Came out in theaters on December the 2nd of last year, and talk about one hell of a fun time. So let me talk Christmas Bloody Christmas first, and I'll let you go into. I know you and Braden just did a Fear Freaks episode on Christmas Bloody Christmas, and then I'll let you dominate on Violent Night. Christmas Bloody Christmas, I actually had a good time with it. Like it was extremely corny with there being like a robotic Santa or like the Terminator Santa, as a lot of people are calling them. And I like it. Like they never really treat itself too seriously. And I kind of like when movies don't do that. It's just one of those you got to turn your brain off for. And that's definitely one. Definitely Carnage, or as Randy says, Carnage candy. Definitely had Carnage candy in it, and the kills were really fun. And there is one scene in particular that was very aggressive in the bedroom. That very, very, very aggressive. But you know what? For some reason, it worked in the movie, just for what the movie wanted to do for some reason. But other than that, though, Terminator Santa, definitely a classic. Like horror icon that you for some reason have to remember. But the movie, I just gave it, I think, like a solid 3 out of 5. But Destiny, any quick thoughts about Christmas Bloody Christmas?
I think this movie is so much fun. I watched it last year on Shudder when it came out. I very much enjoyed it. Braden and I watched it this year for the episode and had so much fun, especially like watching it with someone, because the first time I watched it alone. So it was fun watching it with someone, even though like, it's coming, I personally am I really enjoy the two like lead characters in this movie. I love their banter. I love the going back and forth. I am a sucker for enemies to lovers sort of trope. That's like one of my favorite things to read. And so when I watched this last year, I was like, oh my God, I love this. Even though you can tell like they don't actually hate each other, they're just going back. But I was just like, when it get, it's coming. So when they make it to the bedroom, you're like, finally, like, it's coming. So it's like my favorite things to read, really. And so seeing it in this horror movie was so much fun. So I really like the main two characters. And
but were you expecting that, like how aggressive they turned that bedroom scene? Like, cause like I was like that way too. I was like, yes, they're together. This is awesome. And then it's like, this is, whoa.
And hey, I appreciate it. I was like, okay, all right, finally.
They went there. Okay.
You don't see it too often in movies. And I actually, no, never mind. So yeah.
I say keep it PG.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. That was the next one too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but before that, Raymond does bring up a good point that somebody does need to do an F count on Christmas Bloody Christmas. Or better yet, how about you and Braden do a Fear Freaks drink along episode, and every time they send Okay, I tried, guys. So, anyways, what about Violent Night? Everyone in the chat is loving Violent Night.
Yeah, Violent Night was so much fun. I remember seeing the trailer for it, and I was like, oh my God, David Harbour as Santa Claus, something I never thought I would see, but something I was so happy to see. He's so great in the movie, and this is definitely more of like an action type movie. It's definitely not like horror really. It is more action packed, but it's so much fun. The kills in it are great. I think all the characters are acted very well, and the ending was so like cute. After everything that just happened, the ending was super like cute. So it does have like those really like touching moments that you love in Christmas movies, but then it like in the next scene someone's getting violently murdered. So, you know, it's the best of both worlds in this movie. So yeah, I haven't rewatched it this year, but I definitely want to because it was so much fun. And it's definitely going to be one that I watch every year. Same thing with Christmas Bloody Christmas. I watch that every year now because
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, I still need to rewatch Christmas Bloody Christmas because I've been seeing Killfreaks even been talking about that movie and how much Lee loves that movie. So I want to give it another rewatch for sure. But Violent Night, definitely one of the most fun movies I had last year. Just because it just came out of nowhere. Like me and my buddy were watching a trailer for it in the theater and we immediately looked at each other like, we're securing tickets. We like this has to be a fun time. But not only was it a fun time, it was a great time. Like you could tell the movie did not treat itself seriously. Like it just had fun. That's the best word I can describe this movie. Like fun characters, fun kills, fun action. It definitely took inspiration from other Christmas movies as well, like Home Alone. It took inspiration from Die Hard. That's the one Brad mentioned a lot too. He watched it for the first time a few days ago, and he said he had nothing but a spectacular time with this movie. And I thought also too, David Harper was definitely one of the best looking like Santa Clauses that I've ever seen in the movie too. I felt like he just fit. And it was also funny too, like his backstory, how he became Santa. I thought that was freaking hilarious too. If it's just again, the little girl was just adorable, and you just feel bad for her and what she is trying to deal with in her Christmas wish, and you want nothing more for that wish to come true, which it did, obviously, and it's awesome. But yeah, I just felt like everybody had a great time, and Violent Night it's definitely has to be on everybody's Christmas watch list.
Yeah, definitely one I'm excited to watch again. It's so much fun.
And it's on Amazon Prime for free. So I know you got Amazon Prime for free. So I know you'll be watching it very, very soon.
Oh yeah.
So let's see here. I don't see anything else in the chat. Anything else you want to say about Violent Night, or did you have anything else from the year 2022?
I have a couple of movies. And these were more like they were kind of like added to streaming, so not so much. I mean, they might have been at festivals, but it's when they were added to streaming. So the first one, Terror Train 2, I didn't watch, but I heard it wasn't as terrible as like I wasn't expecting it to be good, but I heard decent mixed things, I would say. Not one I'm rushing to watch, but maybe at some point I will. But that was added to I think it was Tubi. And then
Tubi.
Scare Package 2 was added to Shudder in December. I really enjoy Scare Package, and so I was looking forward to Scare Package 2. It was a little bit of a letdown. There's definitely one short, because it is like it's a collection of short films. It's like an anthology, but the way they, it has like a running story and everything like that. But I just feel like the first one was like the way they implemented it, it felt like more natural, I guess. And there's a character that I love in the first one that I don't like the way they make them in the second one. I was just like, oh, what did y'all do to my boy Rad Chad? Like, he's just not fun like he was in the first one. So yeah, there's one short I remembered. The rest of it didn't stand out too much. It does have some like surprise people in it. So that part was fun, but overall it wasn't as good as the first one, I think. And then the last one that I had also added to Shudder, A Wounded Fawn. Very very weird movie. I think it starts off really well, and there are actually moments with it that actually like scared me. Like there's parts I was like, oh my god, that's really unsettling. And then it just takes this turn and it goes into like Greek mythology, and it completely like just like switches like what kind of movie it is, and that's when it lost me. I thought the first half, it reminded me of Fresh in a way. It's about this man and woman going out and like they're just now getting to know each other, and they're staying at this cabin. So it's very much like fresh, and it turns very weird. But this just goes like so bizarre, tripping balls. You're like, what the fuck am I like watching right now? So it lost me a lot at the end. But yeah, I agree. It starts out so good, and it's so good until it is just like, oh. And I saw a lot of people say that. Like, a lot of people don't like the direction that it went into. So yeah, maybe watch it. I don't know. It was all right.
All right. Yeah, I think I heard you talk about this movie before too, because like for some reason I was having deja vu. Like, did we live this moment? But no, I think I did remember you talk about this movie and how weird it is. And that's all I've heard too, is how weird it is. And I'm just like 50-50 on weird. Like, you have to really get me on the premise before I can even watch your movie. And so maybe I'll watch this in the future, but I'm not in a rush to watch Wooded Fawn. The other two I have heard about, but honestly no interest in the rushing to see them until it's time to do it for like channel related.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing those up, because I totally forgot about those. Was that it for 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And do you want to hang out for a little bit for a small Q&A, like we'll say maybe 10-15 minutes, or do you have
Yeah,
time?
that's fine. I'm at 20% on the laptop.
Okay, so let's just let me know if you get to 10, if and we'll wrap it up. Or so we'll do about 10 or 15 minutes. So guys, go ahead and get your questions ready in the chat. As we do that, I'm going to cover the best of the best and the worst of the worst. And I'll take this time too to let Destiny mention anything that she has YouTube wise for the rest of December. So the first thing I have is the worst of December, which is pretty much dominated by the mean one, with the exception from the audience for Rotten Tomatoes. They said Psycho is definitely the worst. So they say stay away from these movies. Again, like I said, if you are a Grinch fan, I would say give the mean one a watch. But if you're not, you don't want your classic Grinch character to get pretty much ruined, I would easily say skip. But the best of December is dominated by Let the Right One In, and rightfully so, with the exception of The Exorcist by IMDb. It says that The Exorcist was the best movie, but you can't go wrong with either of these movies. So both of these movies, absolutely spectacular. So, Destiny, what do you got coming up for the rest of this month?
I think just Fear Freaks.
Yeah, because y'all got a big show. No, that's the next week. Try to remember, is it Wednesday this week that y'all got your big 2-year show?
Yeah, it should be Wednesday, because I thought I was going to have to change it, but I don't think I have to now. So, yeah, it should be Wednesday.
Awesome. So Wednesday, you all need to catch Fear Freaks. I'll do everything I can to promote it as well for them. That Fear Freaks, 2 years of Fear Freaks. How crazy is that?
Very, very crazy.
Hell yeah. So you got that. If in the next week one, like on like the day after Christmas, you all, I believe, have your like best of the best, or your top 10 best horror movies. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, definitely catch Fear Freaks. And for some reason, if you all have not paid attention to Fear Freaks, I actually do have to Fear Freaks link, the playlist link, in the description down below under Destiny's links. So what are y'all waiting for? Get freaky with it and watch Fear Freaks. So there we go. If a Good Will Hunting, me and Brad, as of right now, do have a show Thursday. We're not sure if it's going to be the top 20 best of the 2023 just yet, because I think Brad wants to see a couple more movies before we do that live stream. So we will let you know immediately once a topic is talked about and what me and Brad are going to do. But expect soon one of the live shows being a top 20 list for the year 2023, both combining horror and non-horror, and we're really looking forward to that show. And then also be on the lookout for top 10 videos being dropped pre-recorded content-wise as well. Just reviewing the year of horror, reviewing the non-year of horror, and the worst of horror. And also starting out the new year, what are we looking forward to in 2024 as well? So a lot of pre-recorded content coming up. And then also the Real Horror Awards. It is now officially in production. I sent out the committee form today, so our committee members are gathering up nominations so we can make sure you guys can vote on it because you all get the final say of who wins what category. And Destiny, of course, is coming back presenting yet again best kill of the Real Horror Awards. All right, and let's see here. Oh, Maddie, I apologize. I missed your super chat here, but so can't forget that. Oh, dude, thank you, man. $10 super chat saying, I hope you both had a wonderful Christmas. Thank you so much, man. So let's go ahead. Yeah, so Maddie's a good dude. Everybody's a good person on our community, and we appreciate you all so much. So let's get Maddie Baker some scary movie again.
Well, shit, he may have some money. We already committed murder. We might as well rob his ass.
I'll take the credit cards.
I want the jewelry.
I'm gonna take his drawers.
So thank you so much, Maddie Baker. So let's see here. All right, we do have some questions that came in. So let's go with the first one of Rosie says, Destiny, did you see Lamb? Is that a movie from A24?
No, I did not.
Any interest?
Maybe.
Maybe, like, because A24 is just, oh gosh, I was looking ahead real quick for Gavin's question. But Gavin, we'll get to you, you sly dog, you. But yeah, Lamb, though, I have honestly no interest in it. It's not because it's A24 weird. It just didn't excite me when I read what the movie is about. And I can't even remember what it's about now. So must not be that interesting in my opinion. So Rosie, thank you for that question. Let's see here. Ashton asked, what movies are y'all looking forward to in 2024? Destiny?
Maxine.
Mm-hmm. If we can ever get the damn trailer for it.
Yeah. That's like the first one that I think of is Maxine for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the first one for me is Terrifier 3. Definitely it'll be highly anticipated, especially when friggin' Lauren Lavera and Elliot are officially back on for Terrifier 3. So you'll get to see those two classic characters from the second one come back. So that the kind of like the intro looking forward to skyrocketed for me. And if I'm bringing up another one, if it does get released in 2024, it'll be extremely high too. And that is going to be the Camp Crystal Lake Peacock show for Friday the 13th. If it does get released in 2024, I've heard a small rumor it might get 2024. It all just depends on if they get finished filming and post-production in time. But yeah, those are the first things that come up for me. So let's see here. Good question, Ashton. Raymond says, do you have any interest in seeing Farisha with Anya Taylor-Joy, Brett, and Destiny? I'm excited for it. Remind me, is that the Mad Max one there, Raymond? Because if it is, I am excited for it.
Yeah, I haven't seen Mad Max, so I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. But I saw like the images and it looks cool. So maybe if I'm just familiar with the world, I don't know anything about it at all. So, but I like Taylor.
Yeah, and Raymond did say yes, that's what it is, the Mad Max movie. I have not seen any of them except for the second one, but I know the second one is far beyond what this one's doing. And from my understanding, you need to watch the previous one with Tom Hardy. The latest one they did make, because it's very similar to what this movie is going to do. So if you have interest in it, if you want to get interested in it, watch the Tom Hardy one, because it will be on my watch list for next year, so I can get ready for this one.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Let's get a couple more questions in here. I got a couple more start here. Blu-ray Addict says, who's your guys' favorite director of all time? Damn, I knew I shouldn't call this question. This is a difficult one.
I'm gonna say Mike Flanagan.
Yeah, Mike Flanagan's definitely one. James Wan is another one for me because it directed my favorite horror movie of all time. And if we're doing favorite movies of all time, we got, of course, mention Wes Craven. Of course, you got to give inspiration to Alfred Hitchcock because he was an amazing director for his time. So many damn good ones. But if we're going to go with one.
John Carpenter.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, damn right. Damn, John Carpenter. Yeah, there's so many great ones. But if I have to go with one, honestly, for me, it might have to go to James Wan just because of what his style of horror did for me personally.
Yeah. I also very much like James Wan, but with Flanagan, I just feel like pretty much like everything that I've seen that he's done, there's just such like an attachment to like his work, and so I think that's why.
Yeah, and it's just his attention to detail because he definitely wants to challenge himself in the terms of books. And what he did with Dr. Sleep was nothing but extraordinary. And his original works, too, like Oculus and all that, have been fantastic, too. So Mike Flanagan is definitely an awesome choice. So let's see here. I think I got 2 more questions. I think we will wrap it up here. This is the one I was laughing at earlier. Question: tits or ass? Just kidding. What's your favorite Scorsese movie, and why is it his underrated masterpiece starring Nicolas Cage, Bringing Out the Dead? I'll be honest with you. I am actually on the controversial side, not the biggest fan of Scorsese movies, so I can't even begin to tell you right offhand what movies he directed.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you one movie. I know that's probably like crazy, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure I know the movies if you say them, but like I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, but I can't like point at you like, oh, that's a Scorsese movie. Like I
Yeah.
can't do that. But if you say this guy directed this movie, I'm like, okay,
Like I know
yeah,
the
that's
name,
fine.
but
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
Like the one I could tell you that he did recently is Killer the Moonflower one, with Leonardo DiCaprio that came out in I guess in November. I think it came out in November, but yeah. Other than that, I can't tell you the other ones. Again, like Destiny said, if you just mention it to us, we're gonna be like, oh yeah, we know that movie.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Just okay, we'll get that one. That'll be a quick one. Oh, Goodfellas. Yeah, definitely know about Goodfellas. That if I'm gonna say one, Goodfellas might be it. So let's see here. Chester says, question: do you both saw Christine in the theater in '83? I enjoyed Christine a lot. I put second behind Halloween, and happy holidays to you both. Unfortunately, this came out in '83, so I was not born when it came out in theaters. Or if it did like a special theater release, I haven't had a chance to do it. But if they did had an opportunity, I would absolutely go see it because I did John Carpenter's The Thing a couple of years ago when they did that, and it was definitely a top theater experience.
Yeah, my mom wasn't even born yet in '83, so I was not there.
Yes.
I would watch it though, a re-release. I would definitely watch it because I do love it. So, but yeah, was not there for that.
Yeah, especially the score. Imagine the score with those theater sounds. Amazing. And we'll make this the last. Let's see here. I just want to make sure. Yeah, we'll make this the last question, and then we'll close it out here. Mark Jones says, "What is both your worst favorite? What is? Wait a minute. Sorry, let me read this. What is both your worst favorite in the Halloween franchise, or just what's the worst movie in the Halloween franchise?" And I wish Chad was here in the chat right now because I would easily say Halloween Resurrection. Not even close. Because once you make Michael a bitch, like you lose all interest in me.
Yeah, Halloween Resurrection. Even though I will watch it again, I watched it this year, so I will watch it. But I don't think it's good. But I'll watch it.
Yeah, especially God, like again, like I could watch it just to make fun of it, but like just it's definitely the worst. Like, and I'm sure me and Brad might be doing a Halloween watch party series next year. I think that's the plan that we did have. Wink, wink. So I'm not looking forward to Halloween Resurrection, but luckily we'll have Chad to be a special guest, and he'll get to try to defend why it's somehow great. But so that'll be fun. But yeah, that's easily the worst for me. So, all right. Let's see here. I think that is actually it. So, Destiny, do you have anything else to say before we close out? Wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, or any kind of holiday.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, everything in between.
Yes, oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, yeah, guys, thank you all so much for making this year's season of Back from the Dead a special one. We will be back next year for January the 7th as we do another season of Back from the Dead, which secret, we did get a contract. Still 2 hours, so we did establish that. So, still 2 hour show, except for the Halloween special. But next year, what we'll do is we're going to tackle movies that end in the years. See if we did 3 and 8 this year. So it'll be 4 and 9 next year. And I know we got some very big time horror movies to talk about next year, but we're going to enjoy the rest of this year with Christmas and all the holidays. And we appreciate you guys so much. And of course, I appreciate Destiny for putting up with me and doing this show with me. It means a lot to get to do this show with one of my great friends in the horror YouTube community. We'll end this with the last question. How many years left on a contract? What was it we agreed on? We did another full year just in case.
Yeah, I'm only going one year by year.
Year by year, if it's just renegotiate. I think this time, if I go anything over, instead of $10, it now goes to $20, right?
Yeah.
So, guys, I'm going to count on you to make sure I don't go over 2 hours at all next year, except for the Halloween special, because that one's a little different. So, but yeah, so that is it. We're going to go ahead and close out. We want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, any holiday you celebrate. We want to make sure you all have the best version of it. Hopefully, you all get exactly whatever you want on your Christmas list, because I know Destiny got hers with the 3-foot Santa hat. So we're going to head and get out of here, and we will see you all next year for another season of Back from the Dead.